We have Hannah Jones, who's a student and a Swarthmore Mountain Justice member. And Hannah's been working on environmental justice organizing here on campus since her first year here. Within Mountain Justice, she's on the frontline outreach and national coalition building working groups. And Hannah is a sociology and anthropology major and is currently finishing her thesis on building effective solidarity relationships between culturally and strategically distant parts of the environmental justice movement.
So I'm going next. First, I want to thank you. That was wonderful. Hard to follow. So I'm going to talk about sort of our campaign here at Swarthmore and why we decided to do this in the first place. So as Ali mentioned at the beginning, we have a sorted 16 list of 16 gas, coal, oil companies. And I think there's a handout going around that has those listed, but they include ExxonMobil, they include Chevron, Arch Coal, so a list of companies that we researched and decided were particularly destructive, both because of their size and because of a lot of the abuses that Ellen mentioned. These companies are responsible for thousands and thousands of violations in health regulations, in environmental regulations, human rights abuses, and beyond that, catapulting us toward climate disaster. So there is really no question to us as to why we chose these companies. And so we're calling on Swarthmore to divest from those 16, which means immediately removing our direct holdings in whatever these companies were invested in, and then engaging in a critical and accountable process to ensure that we can create a portfolio that really does screen for these companies, to really ensure that we have a truly responsible institution. So just to give you some background on how the group started, some students went down to West Virginia, I think both in 2010 and 2011, and visited some mountaintop removal sites there. For those of you who don't know, I think probably everyone does, but mountaintop removal is a coal mining practice where the coal company explodes the top of a mountain to reveal the coal seam underneath. It has huge health impacts in the area, economic impacts. It employs far fewer people than any other mining practice does, and is really destroying communities in Appalachia right now. So people who went down were really obviously struck by that and came back to Swarthmore wanting to do more. And for a while got involved with groups in Philly who were working on mountaintop removal, but really started thinking about how we are uniquely positioned as students to make a bigger change than that. And you know, one of the things that really struck us was that as students, we have access to huge amounts of money that most of us will never have access to ever again. Maybe some of you will, who knows? I certainly will not. So we're uniquely positioned as students to push around a lot of money. And not only that, we're uniquely positioned to be looked up as an educational institution and to really be a loud voice, especially in concert with others. And as you know, we've been talking about, we're in a coalition with other schools and are in a growing movement pushing for divestment. So we really thought a lot about how this is a powerful next step, because a lot of student activism has previously been really pushing sustainability and has been hugely successful in that area. You know, we have a composting program here, and we put in LED light bulbs, and we buy wind credits, all of which are wonderful and have moved us towards sustainability. And this is a next step, and an essential next step to take, because no matter how many LED light bulbs we put in on our campus, if we're invested in these companies, we are still supporting them. And that's something we really are interested in confronting as students. So since our campaign started, we've continued trips to West Virginia, and I know that this issue has kind of gotten more personal importance to me. You know, we've seen sites, Arch Coal is one of the companies on our list. It's an incredibly destructive coal company. And we saw some of the destruction that they were responsible for in West Virginia, and now they are trying to open up one of the biggest open pit mines in the continent in Montana, and those coal trains are going to be going through my grandparents' hometown. So just to like bring that to the forefront. We really try to focus on people who are most affected, and my family is not even close to being the most affected, and when it gets this close to my family, it really brings it close. So, there's huge importance to working on this campaign for me too. So since we started the campaign, we've been doing a lot of research, engaging with different administrators. We've met with President Chop, we've met with the Sustainability Committee, we've met with the Investment Office, and we've been having a lot of conversations and really kind of seeing how we really could make this work, because we know that this is a really involved and complex process that we're really wanting to engage in. So to give you an idea of what we've done this semester, which most of you might know about, we ran a student petition that got almost half of the student body to sign on to, calling for President Chop to lead us toward divestment, which is a huge accomplishment, and we got a lot of really positive feedback for that. And a lot of feedback from students saying that they were really shocked that we were invested in these companies. So that was really affirming for us. Beyond that, we're reaching out to faculty and alumni. There are a number of alumni, probably more than we've found, but we've found some key players who are already not giving to the school because our investment practices are pretty appalling in some ways. And so we've been talking with them. And there are a number of faculty who are also very interested in moving the college's investments in a more positive direction. So we're really building a base. And then in addition to that, working with the National Coalition has been great, because we've been really reaching out to other students who are really interested in seeing this happen. So that's kind of where we're at. And then in terms of viability at Swarthmore, we've gotten a lot of questions, and that's one of the reasons why we're having this panel, because kind of the big question is, okay, great, you want to divest, where's that money going to come from? And Dan is going to speak a lot more to that and with more expertise than I can. But through our research, through extensive conversations with investment professionals and outside organizations, we've really come to know and believe that this dichotomy between responsible investing and financial security is really a false one. And as an institution that really values social responsibility and environmental sustainability, it's outrageous to me that we can excuse this as par for the course. It's outrageous to me when there's research saying that this is a viable option. And so that's why we're doing this campaign. And hopefully Dan can illuminate some of the ins and outs of divestment for you.